Hello, everybody. It is July 23rd, and it is a Friday, so we're doing design and nonsense. And I immediately forgot AI. So it's a fun category today. Fun episode.
Robot, Krista.
Oh.
And I've
Robot AI.
very slightly modified the robot category. From now on, it's going to be robot/space.
We do have a lot of space stories.
You know what else you could work on with the robot thing? Linode. It's Linux hosting. You could deploy your own machine learning project there if you really want to, or experiment with, whatever on a Linux box that's easy to set up and configure and is internet accessible, which is really awesome. We've got a link below. You can get a $100 credit on Linode and level up your skills and do some fun things. Maybe build a game server. One-click Valheim, one-click Minecraft. That run reasonably well.
Yeah, I've had a couple people in the comments say they're running game servers there.
Nice.
Our Minecraft server is still going strong, right?
It is. I'm amazed.
Have we looked into it? Because, there was some crazy stuff going on there. We kind of lost control of it.
We did, yeah. I don't know.
There's still people, they're still doing infrastructure projects in terms of, building stuff on the server. There's talk of wanting to do an update, but probably won't do that till the next year's server.
I feel like
the cave updates
only
just
a
came
few
out.
months away.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's a kind of a microcosm of, what people talk about now in terms of the earth, because they're just raping that land
Yeah.
and twisting it to their whims.
The spawn area, you can't walk because there's so many builds there. It's really cool. Check it out if you're into Minecraft. Thank you, Linode.
Please don't grief it.
Or make your own.
Yeah, make your own.
That's less crazy with Linode. We did host that, and it is still hosted on Linode. And they do have a one-click. We didn't use that because we wanted to use mods. But they have a really easy one-click if you want to just vanilla Minecraft, get your friends into it.
Exciting times.
And then hold them hostage when they build something really nice and be like, next month you're going to give me $5 to access that server. Well, AI is doing some really impressive things when it comes to fakery. Of course, deepfakes, we're all aware of them, but it's not just video now. They're getting into the voices.
An AI model of Anthony Bourdain's voice says lines that he never uttered in a new documentary. Somebody sent an email and was like, hey, how did you do this? And they said, well, for this, we just spliced it together. I saw that somebody do that with one of the CNN news anchors to some rap song, and it was amazing.
But that's
Brian Williams.
But they couldn't do that here because he had never said some of these things.
Yeah.
They had to synthesize it.
And they said, well, we'll save that for the ethics committee debate. We did it. It's fine.
He did write the letter that they're reading from.
Yeah.
So he did write those words.
He just never said them.
Never spoke them. And it gets into a whole ethics thing, right?
Yeah.
Feels a little weird.
Feels a little weird.
We've been doing that with Tupac for a long time. We didn't necessarily make him say things, but slowing it down and stretching it out. They've done a lot with his recordings that he never.
When we all die, will someone make that for the Level1News?
No.
Oh, I already have.
We're nowhere near the popularity of Tupac, Krista.
My voice, when I'm dead, my voice will die with me.
We're nowhere near the popularity of Tupac, and yet a 12-year-old trolling us is able to do it no problem.
Scrub myself off the internet, off the face of the planet. Never going to be here again.
Oh, the
Enjoy it now.
Euros want to create a world where you can do that. Sounds a little Ministry of Truth to me.
He never existed. What are you talking about?
My favorite thing about the Tupac recordings is that almost all the stuff that you get after his death was the stuff that was just unapologetically about killing cops. Because they couldn't release that when he was alive. But they waited 10 years and it was nobody's paying attention now. And there's not.
What an exciting time.
Yeah. We have read a lot about Pepper. Pepper worked in the funeral parlors. Pepper worked in the monasteries. Remember that?
In Din Tai Fung, in the bottom of the Taipei 101, and helped me with getting some reservations for there.
And Pepper has worked in restaurants, although not as a server, just as a greeter. But what we're learning now seems to be that maybe Pepper needs an update. Because Pepper doesn't have a gender, right?
No, I don't think so.
Zer is making some mistakes.
Humanoid robot keeps getting fired from his
they gendered
jobs.
it. Okay.
Pepper, SoftBank's robot, malfunctioned during scripture readings, took breaks in exercise class and couldn't recognize the faces of family members. So it's not a terribly expensive robot. It's like $2,000-ish US.
But wouldn't you expect it to do all those things for $2,000?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like just reading from scripture, and it's like, I don't feel like doing this anymore.
I like that took breaks during exercise class. Like, I imagine he just pulls out a cigarette, and that like wide-eyed look goes away, and he's just like.
But it's got to be an e-cigarette, right?
Yeah.
So the article says that, well, if it looks intelligent, or if it looks like a person, you'd expect it to be intelligent, and it's like, I don't know if that's true. But okay.
Nah, it's kind of a crappy robot, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, how much better is Spot than that thing? Spot can't talk to you, but
Or I'll say Flippy. Flippy's OG.
it's certainly more utilitarian. Now, we've heard this guy's story before, but I remember when we talked about this originally, it was kind of like, it did not get the response that it probably deserved. Because everybody just kind of wanted to gloss over it. But now he has gotten his day to at least talk about what happened to him to lawmakers.
Man wrongfully arrested by facial recognition tells Congress his story. Robert Williams was arrested last year in Detroit after a facial recognition mishap. And he says, the Detroit police came to my other city that's not even Detroit, and, it was really just pretext. They didn't even really do any proper police work. They just randomly arrested me. It's pretty scathing stuff from this guy, and nothing really inaccurate in it.
Yeah, he certainly was wronged.
Yeah.
And it could have been avoided easily.
And it wasn't the only time the Detroit Police Department managed to screw up in precisely exactly the same way.
And I don't think they've necessarily stopped doing it entirely.
No.
And how many people are currently in jail right now because of this same system?
So, will the lawmakers pay heed to that? Probably not.
Probably not, no.
We can dream.
How much are you willing to pay us to pay attention to this? And he's like, wait, pay you?
I don't have any money. I think he did get a settlement, didn't he?
I don't know.
Probably not as much as he deserves, though. Well, one thing we're finding out about these new robots that are coming out is that everybody has pretty much just stolen the Spot design.
Yeah.
They'll make them a little bigger, a little smaller, different features, but when you get right down to it, basically the quadruped dog. Everybody's doing it. This one does have an interesting new feature.
Stumble-proof robot adapts to challenging terrain in real time. So
I don't do that well.
yeah, it's like when you're walking around on big rocks or little rocks or gravel or dirt or whatever, you change the way that you walk. You do it subconsciously. You don't even realize you're doing it. And now the dog does that explicitly because the programmer decided it so.
But, and this is cover your ears, Mr. Musk. No cameras involved here. They do not. They ignore everything about the visual feedback. It's all about the expectation of what the body is going to do and the reality of what the body is doing. And they compare those two, and when they find differences, they adjust. Just like we do. So they give the example of walking in sand, for example. You expect your foot to stop, and it doesn't. What does that mean? It means you got to shift your leg a little bit. That's a lot of processing power, though.
The 4 legs might make that easier than if it was just 2 as well.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Because when I go backpacking, I always have like the hiking sticks, and when you're going on like a descent or something, that makes it a lot easier.
Do you just use regular sticks, or do you have?
No, I've got poles, like actual hiking poles.
Isn't that annoying to carry around?
No, I use them a lot. Like especially if you're going uphill and downhill, they're just helpful. Because my poor knees, I'm getting older, and when you got a big heavy pack on your back.
Are we taking a mid-show break for a new orange soda? Actually,
yeah.
Let's get to the design section. No, not yet.
Yeah, you can compare it to the taste.
This is the last AI/space story.
Okay.
So this is the end of and this is the end of the 2021 space race. It's over, and the winner is
Richard Branson and Virgin Galactic complete a successful space flight.
Isn't it just the edge of space?
Yeah, but he beat Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. When Jeff Bezos gave up his CEO position, I wonder if he was table flippingly mad. It's like, no, I was supposed to be the first person to the edge of space.
Wall.
He tweeted a very congratulatory tweet, but like you say, I think it might have been, like
through
tense
gritted
knuckles.
teeth. Yeah.
I gave up the CEO position because the shareholders didn't want me taking unnecessary risk, and it's just like, and he's like, woo, welcome to space.
Look at those seats. Those are nice gaming seats, aren't they? So you are correct, Krista. It was 50 miles. Now, I think that is beyond that. What's the name of that line where it's like,
Oh, I forget.
you're officially in space? Isn't that 40-some miles? But they got a 3-minute weightlessness and then an immediate descent. You know what's interesting about the vomit comment, and it makes perfect sense, but I've never thought about it before. On the ups, it's 2 times gravity.
Yeah.
So they're all just pinned to the floor while it goes back up. And then you get, is it 30 seconds, I think?
Because it's just free fall.
30 seconds of weightlessness.
Yeah.
And then you're pinned to the floor again. And you have to be very careful what you're doing at the end of that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because double your body weight can be a big surprise. So congratulations, Mr. Branson.
The American people hate you and all the billionaires who are currently running the space races.
Also, interesting, 2 different business models here. If you want to go to space with Amazon, $28 million. You want to go to space with Richard Branson, $250,000.
That guy backed out. The 28 million guy backed out.
All right, the new guy is 18.
Yeah, the guy was, I think they said he was private, and when he realized he was going to get a ton of press for going to space with Jeff Bezos, he was like, I'm out.
Oh, the headline I saw just said he was too busy. It's like, I got something else to do that week.
Oh, I forgot. I have a meeting.
I can wait a year and it's only going to be $250,000. I should save my tens of millions of dollars.
I got a lot of weeding to do that weekend.
Sorry.
Level 1 financial advice. Wait a year and then give us a couple $1 million for advising you to wait a year.
Nah, don't be greedy. We'll take $250,000. Well, our loan design story, I was not aware of this. Are these in the stores yet? Can we see these already? Or is
I
this coming
don't
soon?
think they are. They just announced them this week.
It is mild. I suppose if you are... Oh, all right, that's a good question for you, Krista. If Coke was like, all right, we're bringing you in, you're the new designer, do you boldly try to change things, or do you understand that this is an institution?
No, it's an institution. You don't change it. That's true of any large company. You never make massive changes because people get very angry about it, which is strange.
So do you think this is within that window?
Yeah, it's pretty mild. I think it's maybe not the best, but we'll read the headline. Coca-Cola unveils a bold and minimal new redesign. So this is for Diet Coke. Can you guess which one? Or not Diet, it's Coke Zero. And Coke Zero is the one with the black text on red. It's not dramatically different from their other cans. I personally would have gone with a black can because right now I don't think it's different enough visually from the other two. And I think it would be easy to confuse the flavors if you're not sure.
Here's the best thing about these. This is subtle. So if you look at the Diet can, the middle can, it's got a refreshing taste, no calories, and no sugar. Whereas the original has delicious and refreshing, but apparently Coke Zero, neither delicious nor refreshing.
Just no cow.
The marketing lady for Coke said that the reason that they switched it so it's a red can is because they want people to mentally think about it as just as good as regular Coke. I think they're trying to go with the health trend where it's like Coke Zero is just as good and you can still drink Coke without all the sugar and health detriment.
It's currently red text on black can, right?
Yes.
For the other one? Interesting.
See, I would have kept the dark can because then it quickly, when you're trying to pick out a package in the store, you don't want to sit there and read the text to figure out what you're getting. You just want to grab the box.
Do they want me to accidentally pick that one up and then be like, oh, you know what? This isn't terrible.
That might be what their strategy is. I think they also slightly tweaked the Coke Zero flavor.
It's funny because they kept the same Diet Coke can color.
Yeah.
So it's like they made the one choice with Diet Coke, but the opposite choice with Coke Zero.
Yeah,
also,
I'm not sure why that is. It doesn't make sense to me.
Isn't it interesting that silver and gold have always been the Diet colors?
Yeah.
Pepsi does it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you think there's a psychological thing there they've figured out?
Well, if there wasn't, there is now.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, maybe it's like they're trying to make it seem like a premium product. I don't know. Silver kind of connotates second place, but gold doesn't. Gold's usually caffeine free, I think.
Interesting. I bet there's a whole internal chart for all of these things, isn't there?
Yeah, they didn't go into that in the article. They just mentioned that they want people to mentally think about it as Coke Zero is just as good as regular Coke.
Were we waiting until the end of design?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Try your soda. Speaking of, Focus. I think you've already tried this one, but
Pretty sure.
Focus with a pH.
yeah.
Yeah, this is not carbonated at all. It's good. This would be a good search.
So you've had this before?
I think so.
We got to keep track of that better.
We need to make like a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet.
This is a blood orange. I don't know if maybe I didn't have the blood orange version. Pretty sure that I did.
You had something blood orange, right?
Yeah, it's naturally energizing sparkling water. Natural energy.
Give us the calorie and sugar count.
0 calories.
Okay.
1 serving per container, and 0 everything in the nutrition column. 0%. 0 fat, 0 sodium, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 extra sugar, 0 protein. Ingredients.
So what's the sweetener?
Reverse osmosis sparkling water.
Delicious.
Oh, that's good. Natural blood orange flavor.
Okay.
It tastes like blood orange rind, if I'm honest.
That's not good.
Bitter, yeah.
It's pretty good though. Orange flavor, citric acid, natural tea, caffeine. Oh yeah, it's not the green tea caffeine though. It tastes more like a black tea. L-theanine electrolytes, calcium chloride, potassium bicarbonate.
I didn't hear a sugar. What was the...
There is 75 milligrams of caffeine.
Is that in the orange stuff?
Yeah, there's no sugar at all.
No added sugar. I guess maybe it's just in like juice or something.
Yeah, it's it doesn't taste sugary at all. It tastes like flavor water. And this is manufactured in Louisville.
Oh, that's not far from us.
So are we counting this against the normal oranges?
Gluten free. This is
There's no wheat gluten in that, really?
it doesn't. The flavor does a good job of covering what would otherwise be bitter caffeine water.
What about, that would be a great brand. Bitter caffeine water. That's basically coffee, right?
I think it makes it a little chalky.
But are we putting this up against the other? Does this count as an orange soda alternative?
This is not really an orange soda alternative, but this would, like, if I had a 6-pack of this in the fridge and I'd spent a hard day working on my trees outside, I would definitely go for this.
What venue would you enjoy this in?
This is a good sort of any occasion drink. This doesn't you could just grab this, and it's not an overwhelming flavor. It's not an overpowering flavor.
It doesn't stand out in your mind.
Gives you a little shot of caffeine. Works out.
I don't think they would like that description if you're the focus people, because you basically just said that it's nothing to be.
It's unremarkable.
Yeah.
Its remarkableness is that it is so unremarkable. It doesn't taste like you need to have a special occasion to drink it, as with orange cream soda.
It's the gray man of sodas.
I mean, I would describe, the Diet Orange Crush even more apoplectically. So this is pretty good.
Will this whole exercise just alienate you from Diet Orange Crush once you get back to it?
Yes, it absolutely will.
Well, that was kind of mission accomplished, right? We wanted to find an alternative because it was hard to find the Diet Orange Crush.
I don't know how available this is, though.
I don't know when it'll be here, but somebody sent me a note that they're sending me this jug thermos thing that looks really elaborate that I'm supposed to put orange slices in, and it will diffuse the orange slices into water. And I'm actually kind of excited about that.
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction that you'll do that maybe 3 times. Maybe.
Because it's just too much work.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll forget that thing, and there'll be a thick orange mold. And it'll be
Make your own
somewhere-
penicillin.
Yeah.
I'll probably be pretty good about remembering to empty the orange out of it, but then in the fruit basket, there'll be like a black shriveled lump. And it was like,
That's good compost
oh,
material.
right, oranges. Right. Those don't keep forever.
Speaking of keeping forever.
Are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he did. We lost him. He
We
was
did.
gone to the ages, but
He's been reanimated.
like Lazarus, climbing back into our lives.
Microsoft threatens to resurrect Clippy as an office emoji.
I like that they
Microsoft-
used the term threatens.
They wanted 20,000 likes in return for Clippy. Oh, and they got him.
Now imagine this. Imagine that you are on the emoji team. You think there's an emoji team?
Yes.
Probably the UI team, right? And you're working away, you're doing your job at Microsoft, you're feeling good. Windows 11's coming out, it's your big time. And you get a memo. I was like, listen, one of the marketing people tweeted something. So you have
I
to
don't
do
want to
this
know.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's strange that they brought Clippy back because I think some of the other things that were in that version of Office were more popular. Like the puppy. They actually made the puppy a part of Windows Search and Windows XP. It was like, you can't find something in the built-in Windows Search and the little puppy comes out. It's like, I can't find it.
No, Clippy was like iconic, at
Yeah, I
least for
think
my
he's-
generation.
As a meme.
Oh no,
Right,
people
well-
loved Clippy.
But he was loathed, I think, as much as he was ironically loved, right?
Yeah.
The
He
puppy,
wasn't real helpful.
No. Yeah, he was useless. And his uselessness came at a time usually when you were already frustrated.
Yeah.
That was the thing about Clippy.
Yeah. It looks like you're writing a suicide note. Would you like some help?
Be careful of the grammar.
It looks
The
like
last
you're
thing
making a
ever-
table, and then you try to make a table, and it just fucks up the whole document.
So, now, also, Microsoft has not confirmed they're actually going to do it, even though they got their likes that they required. So they might have just burned us on this. Somebody will have to do bootleg Clippy. Often, the big tech companies, what we know about them, for sure, is that they are terrified to offend anybody.
Yeah.
They're not sure exactly how to stop from doing that, so they will just cut to the bone to try and avoid it. And it leads to some really, really stupid decisions. And I would love, do you think there's any way, if we went in as an audit team and we're like, all right, we're going to get down to where this decision was made. Could we ever find it?
No.
It would be amazing. If we could write a book about it, it would be a New York Times bestseller. I promise you.
How long of a book would that be, though?
69 pages.
Yeah, Apple's weather app won't say it's 69 degrees. So there was a weather update, and if you click on the source data, it shows 69 degrees, but it'll show 68 or 70. It never shows 69.
Because that's a sex act.
I probably would giggle if I saw it, but because I'm a child. But does anyone actually care about that?
Somebody did.
Enough to write code around it?
Maybe the Chinese government?
There was at least one meeting about this, and there was at least one person sitting in the meeting who had thoughts about, what am I doing with my
But
life?
only thoughts. They
Yeah.
did not vocalize those.
It's like, this should be my dream job. I'm working for the world's first $1 trillion company, and they have me writing an if statement in here to just...
But here's the thing about it. Above that, if temperature equals 69, is there a nasty comment?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's probably, it might not even be anything about it. It's like some idiot in marketing told me to put this in here.
I'll be disappointed if this is not an exhibit in the Smithsonian 100 years from now. It's like, they talk about things that happened in Rome before the fall of Rome. And, it's like, this is an historical thing that happened. There should be an exhibit for this. It's like, oh, they had their computers, which were, the most amazing...
As if there will be museums in 100 years.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's that blind optimism, thinking the Smithsonian is going to still be standing in 100 years.
As if we won't all just be roaming through the desert as raiders.
Well, we'll be dead.
Yeah, it's true in 100 years.
Maybe you'll have kids.
Maybe.
But I think the line ends are over here on this side of the table.
Yeah. Maybe the train raiders will still be around.
There is a... I've never read it, but there's a sci-fi series about nuclear winter, but somehow there's still a train going. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
I've always been interested in that.
Engagement Challenge. That's actually really popular.
But if you were in that situation, this would be the train to have.
Yeah.
Because this is basically, how much was Steve Jobs' yacht?
I think it was like $650 million.
Yeah. This is basically that, but on tracks.
$350 million Palace on Rails luxury train concept unveiled.
Veiled?
Unveiled.
Unveiled. Yeah.
Unveiled. An idiot. But yeah, let's look. It's toggleable though. Go back.
This shit's nicer than our houses.
You can hit a button, and the car will not be transparent.
The
anymore.
glass, yeah. It's like those meeting rooms
Yeah.
where it'll frost them immediately.
Yeah.
But that'll stand up well to a collision.
the bathwater. Yeah.
No, the glass.
Oh.
So you might be thinking, when can I get a ticket to this bad boy?
It's not been built. These are just concept art.
Yeah.
Well, even though it's not been built, you'll never get a ticket because this is not a public train. This is not for public transport. This is a private train. One guy gets to own this.
I would also like to point out the Lawrence of Arabia train that he ambushed in 1831. It's still there in the desert. There's pictures of it. You can go see it. It's right where he left it.
So you're saying we're going back to the days where train robberies become a thing, right?
I bet this one's got countermeasures.
Probably, yeah.
Also a security team. That'd be a cush job, wouldn't it? Ride around on this train all day waiting for train robbers. Also, what do you think how much distance can you actually travel in the world on one train track? Because you're not going to be switching this to another track.
I was thinking about that, and it's like a yacht is infinitely more practical, and it's just crazy to say that.
There's probably a lot of countries in Europe you could go through on a train, right?
Well, for that price tag, a nice yacht with a helicopter pad. I mean, and then you can do anything you want.
Well, say, in the U.S., I know a lot of our train lines are used for like commercial purposes. Do you think if you're someone who buys this train, do you like go on the commercial lines and then get angry when the commercial vehicles have like more precedence over you? Do you know who I am?
But you also have to park it, right? That's got to cost a lot.
Yeah.
You think it'll get tagged with graffiti? That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the train yard.
People jump on top of it. They're just riding it.
Well, what would you say? Give me your numeric level of hype for the 2021 Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
I probably won't watch it. I don't have cable.
I'm going to watch the weightlifting. The women's weightlifting, at least. But we can't say why I'm going to do that. The problem is the Olympics are going to be in Tokyo. Now, they're dealing with the pandemic again.
Right.
The old variant. We won't say which one. And they're saying that maybe people aren't even going to be able to show up and watch this. But that is not possibly, if you're a competitor, not the biggest problem.
Tokyo Olympics outdoor swimming venue smells like a toilet. Quote unquote smells like a toilet. They tested the presence of E. coli in the water. It was twice the recommended limit. They tried to clean it up, and now it smells worse.
So it seems like they're just going to go with it.
What body of water is this that they're swimming in?
It's an inland bay or something like that, I think is what they called it. Tokyo Bay. Yeah. And they've sort of partitioned a piece of it off, but the E. coli is still in there. They did point out that a bunch of rivers run into that, which is probably like how much industrial waste from Japan, and all of the sewage from Tokyo.
Well, there's your problem.
It's treated, but still, how much are you going to do to it? So that's certainly an extra challenge if you're a swimmer.
Didn't that happen a few years ago at another...
Brazil, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, they had the same problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's terrifying to think that like every country in the world, like you go into their bays and it's like, oh, it's just sewage. It's just poos.
Michael Phelps Jr. for the 100-meter sewage challenge.
Is there a Michael Phelps Jr.?
No.
I like... one of my favorite things about the Olympics is it seems like all of the housing and all of the infrastructure and stuff like that is so poorly and hastily done.
Yeah.
It's never good.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand. Like, it's great that we do it from like a team building exercise, but like it just seems like a huge waste of money and resources.
But under normal circumstances, you would make all that money back from your tourism.
Japan's
But
not going to get that. Yeah.
So that's a tough one. We all know that Chick-fil-A is some of the best fast food that you'll get. But you do have some ideological concerns there. They are vocal, and they donate a lot of money to certain political causes that make certain people angry. And then we get into fights like this.
Lindsey Graham says he'll go to war for Chick-fil-A values. The U.S. Senator is upset that some Notre Dame students want to ban a fast food restaurant from coming to the campus.
Having Chick-fil-A at the food court at my university probably took about 5 years off my life.
We didn't have
It's
any
so
fast
good.
food restaurants at our school.
God, the biscuits for breakfast,
Yeah.
that was bad.
I feel like this is a weird thing to care about as
Well, he's
leader
pandering.
of the land. Yeah.
It boils down to the religion thing.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
Or I was going to say, or Chick-fil-A paid him, one or the other.
Well, I'm sure that Chick-fil-A donates heavily to him, but it's chicken and egg, right? Like, they were already doing that.
Who cares?
Well, I'll tell you one company that cares, because where Chick-fil-A is up here, this company, who used to be number one, remember when they were number
We
one?
should have got this web contract.
But this used to be the number one fast food location in the United States. You could walk 10 feet, there'd be another one.
Yeah.
But not anymore. And they're trying to sort of rehab their image. But recently they've taken a bit of a hit to it.
SubwayTunaFacts.com. Subway tuna is real tuna.
Underlined.
Underlined,
Real.
yeah.
That's right. It's like, okay, we know that you saw the news story about they did the DNA test for tuna and it didn't come back with anything. But you can't DNA test cooked meat.
So they got a whole bunch of questions and answers about the tuna. Subway tuna is real, has to be underlined every time.
Yeah.
Real.
That's in the brand guideline.
Real tuna. Look, it comes from a boat.
I really hope that they didn't pay their agency more than $5,000 for this website, because
Is all that text just in the image?
yeah,
Oh.
the headlines are not correct. Like, they could have done some really amazing thing with scalable vector graphics here. There's so much opportunity to make this a much more engaging website, and they just
You can't even read it on mobile.
Oh, what
It's-
a piece of garbage.
This is what you get when you have a print designer doing web.
At
It's
the
just-
very
it's
least,
just
the
bad.
text should be legible because they're not going to get any SEO benefit from this.
Oh, at least the header changes. They did that much at least.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Don't embed text in images, chat.
Yeah, they don't understand what they got wrong about this, and it's just so. It makes me so angry.
I mean, that's one level of dystopia, but the higher level of dystopia is that they have to put out messaging like this at all.
But I don't know that this is necessarily settled, right? Because we've seen 2 articles already where another private, and it wasn't just like a random person, it was one of those papers. They did the testing, and they claim they also found no tuna.
Well, you can't test cooked meat. Do you want to eat raw tuna? Is this sushi way? No, it's Subway.
Eat fresh, but not that fresh.
Eat fresh is more of a command than a suggestion.
Eat fresh.
Well, common story that I like to throw in the old nonsense is abuse of power. Oh boy, is this an abuse of power?
Yeah, this is not going to stand up. I just don't know how many layers of the court system it's going to have to wind its way through. Woman charged with a hate crime for stepping on pro-police "Back the Blue" sign in Utah.
I mean,
She's going to be able to retire.
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if it's on private property, she probably shouldn't have done it. But
Well, she is in the wrong. Yeah, Krista, you're right.
Yeah.
But here's the
Big but.
Here's the scenario. We got a ton of time. She gets a speeding ticket. She's not happy about this. She pulls off the road, gets out of her car, finds the "Back the Blue" sign, stomps on it, and gives the cop a dirty look. Now, obviously, what I've just described to you is an act of terrorism.
She was charged with a hate crime, not destruction of property.
yeah, I don't understand the hate crime because doesn't hate crime have to be like a underprivileged group somehow? Like, wouldn't
No, remember they changed the laws in a bunch of places to protect cops after the riots.
Wow.
Yeah.
This isn't going to end well for the PR team.
The word here is retaliatory.
It might have to go all the way to the Supreme Court, but she's going to get a 7-figure settlement.
But that's not going to help. Not going to stop them from doing it again.
No.
What has to happen is this particular cop really bad things need to happen to this cop. And I will just go ahead and say, you know what? They should drop all charges if this Officer Carter just goes to court and admits under oath that he is a little bitch man. This is not really a news story, but it's coming.
Interesting.
90 days from now, are you all ready for it?
National general strike. What's a general strike? 90 days from now. This is a website calling on a general strike because of various reasons. Mishandling of the thing, the fact that minimum wage still hasn't been raised, some other malfunctioning things. Only 100 corporations are responsible for 71% of all global carbon emissions.
Yeah, and something like 60 of them are in China. Come
Yeah.
on. What are we going to do about that? What you want, if you want to change that, what you want is a war. I don't want that.
I appreciate the general strike. I think it's not necessarily a bad idea, but we need to strike not just like one day off, which is what they're proposing, but rather do what the French do and just riot in the streets. We got a French riot. That's the only way.
How about we do what the French do a long time ago?
Make baguettes?
Guillotine?
Yes.
Oh,
That's how you
Zico,
change
Zico,
things. Did they stop making baguettes? They still do that.
Should we use the baguettes like swords? I don't.
No, we stuff them in their mouth after we chop their heads off and we mount them on stakes.
Yeah, that's probably where it's headed, unfortunately. But
I don't know.
it's a good baby step, but we got to do it like the French do it.
But what do you think the participation rate will be? Participation rate?
not great.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of posts on it online, but we'll see if people put their money where
I
their
think
mouth is.
a lot of low-level workers, a lot of minimum wage workers are going to do it and get fired.
I don't know that they can right now, though. Like, we're kind of in a place where a lot of management can't find other workers. So like just firing people like that, they might have enough leverage right now. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they might not by October, but.
Or things could change dramatically by October. I mean, think about how rapidly our world is changing right now.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that we do know is that privacy is pretty much dead. You can have it, but boy, is it expensive. And more people are trying to get in line to create something that stops all of this speech control. Unfortunately, they're usually only interested in doing it in one direction.
Yeah.
Like there's no platform. It's like, no, everybody gets to say whatever they want. I don't know if this one would fall into that, but if we think about what was Mike Lindell's one? I always forget the name.
My Pillow?
That's his company, but I'm talking about his social media failure.
Oh.
My social media?
Anyway, he had one, and then Getter. Remember Getter last week?
Which is apparently full of Sonic porn now.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
I fear that this one might be the next one in line in that group.
Yeah. Freedom Calling. Bitcoin boss introduces a new uncensorable device that protects privacy and political thought. I don't think this is what this is. This seems like a cheap Chinese phone that's been cloned, and it doesn't seem like it's going to do any of those things.
I think that is actually what it is.
They took Android, cut out all the Android, and then sold a cheap phone. Did Huawei not already do that?
Yeah. They literally did
Huawei literally already did that.
Yeah.
So
it seems like a scam.
we'll see.
Don't take my word for it, though. What do I know?
He can send us one. We'll check it out. And I still don't understand how the OK sign became racist.
I think it was a 4chan thing that got out of control.
That's what, was it just a troll, you're saying?
I think so.
I looked at this picture, and I want to say that I feel sorry for the guy.
Did they show the... Oh, okay.
Yeah. I want to say that I feel sorry for the guy. I don't know.
That looks like he could easily... Like, he could have a booger between those two fingers.
He could also just be hunched over, because, like, my hands will just naturally... Like, if I'm... I don't know.
Well, let's do the headline.
Universal Orlando faces lawsuit over actor's racist hand gestures. And Universal Orlando has said, oh my gosh, we are so sorry. We have fired the actor. We don't know what happened. This is terrible. We're so sorry that you were subjected to this. Absolutely. We definitely agree with you. And I don't know.
It doesn't look...
Get ready for it.
Yeah. Chat, you make a distinction here. I don't think it looks like he's doing it really intentionally.
We are of a race and creed that probably can't make that call.
But also, I mean, I find that, sometimes I'll do that, like, just when I'm talking to, like, emphasize a point, like, just as a gesture, and then I'm like, oh, crap, does that mean white supremacy now? Like, I don't mean to do it, but, I mean, sometimes it's just a natural gesture to make.
Yeah, we were live streaming something once, and you were in the chat to manage it, and it was like, give us an okay sign if everything is okay. And I was like, okay. And it was like, oh.
Yeah, and then someone like was laughing about it, and we were like, oh, shit.
No, I did that 100% on purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's nonsense. It's ridiculous. I will not play these games. I will do the okay symbol anytime I feel like it.
I had no idea at that point in time.
Because same. How stupid is it?
It is stupid, but like someone takes that out of context, and it's like, well, shit, now I have to say, no, I'm not a racist. Sorry, I didn't know.
Anybody that takes that out of context, I don't want as a part of my life. I'm happy to jettison them and for them to be my enemy. I'm fine with that. Because that's not a person that, I mean, what good is going to come out of that relationship?
Anyway, kind of weird story.
Yep. This one shows the power of Activision. I think that there was probably a little more, let's call it, persuasion than was let on in this headline.
Auto-aim cheatmaker halts development at Activision's request. The developer says, my intent was never to do anything illegal. So this was apparently a cheat that worked by AI. You could actually capture the game footage on another computer and it would send mouse and keyboard movements. So how do you even detect that? And also, side note, if you're on Linux and there's all that anti-cheat stuff that happens on Linux that makes us suffer and bad things happen, look at this. You don't need that on Linux because of this.
But you raise a very good question there with what you said. If this is done with pure malicious intent, it's being sold, it's disrupting the game, is that and should it be illegal?
I think it is in South Korea, right?
Yeah.
They've passed laws, yeah.
It feels like such a trivial thing to bother making illegal.
Now, it seemed like the person that made this was not as interested in cheating as they were in researching AI.
Yeah.
This was just sort of a cool problem that they wanted to solve.
There's the AI for StarCraft also, which was really super interesting to watch and learn.
But you're talking about the one that they sanctioned, right? That they actually put on the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got good at identifying that based on some little quirks that it would do.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like tweeting like, "Oh, I went up against the AI."
This is just wrong. There's another article that has some more details on this, and this was an attempt at fostering inclusion, but this story leaves that out mostly.
How does this accomplish that?
It doesn't, but it was just like we don't know what to do.
Here's my question. Like, a lot of people made some bad decisions here, right?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that this guy didn't show up to the venue dressed like that. So at some point, he was in the bathroom in the children's section of a public library, and he was sliding on his belt.
I don't know. The other article that I read made it sound like that he did show up like that, and they gave him a pass because they thought it was because of inclusion.
So he was on a bus like this? I don't know. I don't think
we can't show the picture.
I don't think there's any defending this.
If you don't look at anything, you should go look at the picture because it's horrifying.
We'll scroll. Oh, this one's fine. This picture's fine.
We weren't sure at first.
Hey kids, bare-bottomed monkey man with fake penis teaches kids to read. Don't stare at the picture too long because you begin to notice more and more things wrong with it.
I just noticed
the nipples.
There's nipples on that vest, and that's something.
That's not okay.
And I think those are just his nipples, right? Like it's just cut out.
Oh, it's just cut out.
Yeah.
I thought it was like plastic ones or something.
But every picture of him, he has that same expression. I think he was in character the entire time.
He looks kind of like Michael Cera.
Yeah. So the one article I read said that this was some sort of like inclusion thing. Like he was going for, like they were being inclusive, but I don't know. Maybe it's like, I booked another venue. I need to go somewhere else.
No. This is, so these kinds of library shows are all about sexuality and making kids more open-minded about that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how this leads to that.
Is that, well, I don't know what age he was reading to, but like, is that really age appropriate?
They were pretty young. Yeah. No, not at all.
Like, because I can understand teaching you about, like, hey, this is your body. You don't need to share it with other people. That seems like age appropriate. This seems a little mature for a young age group, but...
Apparently this was to promote children's reading. As the children were leaving, they're like, I don't know, do you have any kind of literature that can explain what the hell just happened to me? Because I got nothing here, buddy.
Strange.
Nothing about my existence has prepared me for this. So maybe don't do that. How are these groups of children getting to these libraries? Are parents not accompanying them?
No, it's like daycare. It's like you drop it off for...
Then you deserve what you get.
I don't know that that's true. Well, so like my sister-in-law takes her kids to the library for like the reading, things like that, but she usually stays with them.
As long as the parents are there.
Sometimes there's like the classes though, where it's like, there's 20 or 30 kids, you sign up and... you show up and you drop it off and you come back in 3 hours.
You pull up to the side of the library, push your kid out with your foot.
Then, just wheel away rapidly.
Enjoy the drag show, little Timmy.
It always blows my mind, too. So a similar sort of thing to that is that, like, IKEA has the daycare in it. I'm not saying that, like, the IKEA people are bad or anything, but it's like, I don't know anything about those IKEA people. Why would I leave my kid with them?
And if I were someone who wanted to target children, wouldn't that be an attractive job?
It's kind of weird. I mean, I'm sure that they're, like... I don't know, but are they though? Like, why would you work at a furniture store if you wanted to work with kids? Weird. Anyway, that's kind of a tangent. Not important.
Well, this is there's no joke we can make here that's not already been made. The headline is the joke.
Truck carrying 10 tons of ramen noodles crashes into an Arkansas lake.
Ramen?
Ramen.
You get weird pronunciations today. Is it because
it's the orange?
It's the orange, yeah.
it's making us
getting in your brain.
Ramen. I've actually called it ramen noodles.
I've heard both. I feel like ramen is usually like more of a southern pronunciation.
Yeah, it's like the country mispronunciation of the Japanese
I got them
word.
Ramen noodles.
For sales.
Yeah.
But that's what, like $100? That's also in the article.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
Because it's 20,000 pounds, but they're cheap.
They're
also,
delicious.
That's got to be a lot of sodium in that water, don't you think?
Those fish are dead. Yeah.
It's not really submerged though. I mean, maybe it's the product's ruined, I'm sure, but Or maybe it'll show up at Ollie's. I don't know.
Yeah, but those little packages are so weak. I don't think they stay watertight for very long at all.
Yeah.
Although the sodium packs are more. Over time. It'll be a slow release of sodium.
I've got an engagement challenge for our next story.
Well, what could you possibly have in common with this? So, obviously, a big part of music is beat per minute. You know, it's like, how fast is this song? Is it an up-tempo song? Is it a down-tempo song? And why would that ever matter? Why would you ever need to consider that when you're listening to a song? We have the answer out of Korea.
Under new curbs, because of the worldwide situation, and people may be recovering or they may have latent issues as a result of the thing, gyms can play butter, but not Gangnam Style. And the reason, beats per minute. They don't want anything with a beats per minute over 120.
Why? Because apparently that spreads disease more because you're breathing heavy.
Well, they just imagine people just, like starting to dance in the gym, or?
No, they have like, classes, like bike classes and stuff like that. So they're now controlling the playlist. I've never heard Butter. Do you guys, are you familiar?
I didn't know
Butter?
that song either. Who was it by? Did it mention?
I don't know.
Maybe we can go stream it from the YouTubes.
Gangnam Style, of course, is by the Korean pop star Psy.
I imagine Butter is too, because this is a story out of Korea. So yeah.
That's I would think that no matter how fast you're breathing, that just being in a class full of other people, you would be at risk.
But also, like on the bike, are you just not? Do you think that extra beats per minute is going to motivate you that much harder?
I mean, sometimes that's true, but I think the problem is you're just in a small space with other people. That seems like the idea of security, not actual security.
I think this article is some sort of ableism against people that are able to correctly perceive beats.
Well, you at least understand the frequency up and down, right? I mean, I know you can parse that.
I can parse it, but I can't maintain synchrony with it.
I have only recently come to use and appreciate the magic eraser. Have you guys used the magic eraser?
Yes.
Oh.
Every time I've moved, I get a magic eraser to scrub the walls.
An amazing product.
Yeah.
Incredible. And not just for the bathroom and kitchen anymore.
TikTok trend of whitening your teeth with Mr. Clean Magic Eraser is not safe, dentists say. It's like powdered sulfuric acid or something. It's a cleaning chemical. Don't clean your teeth with it. It's like, you can clean your teeth with it. Just rinse your mouth out real good. Not a good idea.
Well, so you say, but according to this random TikToker, nothing better.
Never thought about doing that, but that does seem like that would be an incredible teeth whitening regimen.
I think there's a similar sort of thing. Now, I think it's more of a trend, so I might upset some people in our comments, but they say, some people are like, oh, you have to use charcoal on your teeth. But I think it's that same thing, though, like where it's really abrasive. It's actually not good for your teeth.
No, you can get toothpaste with charcoal in it.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I've read from dentists is like, please don't use that. It is too abrasive.
Does it take off the enamel?
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know. If you're a dentist, comment below. Actually, Wendell, we know a dentist who could probably comment on that for us.
Yeah, it's like, don't do that.
Now, here's my other question. And Kristen, maybe you'll understand what this is, but she gave a 3-step process. Step 2 was oil pulling.
Yes. I had a friend who did this for a while. You get something like coconut oil or like some sort of liquid oil, and then you swish it around in your mouth and you spit. And it's supposed to help get more plaque and crap off your teeth. I don't know how effective it actually is, but
I think big coconut oil's behind that.
People use coconut oil for everything. They use it for their face too, and probably not the best choice for a face oil because it's I can't pronounce this word, comedogenic or whatever, so it clogs your pores. It's good for your hair though.
Oil tips.
Yeah.
Today only. Cigarettes. I do not see many people smoking. Your mom quit smoking, right?
Yep.
That shocked me.
Yeah, me too. I was not expecting that.
Is she using a vape, or did she just quit cold turkey?
No, she sort of tapered off over a very long time, but it probably tapered off over like a year.
Oh, how is hubby dealing with the ban on vape shipments?
I don't know that it's really affected him. He's gotten a couple. Not super recently.
Illegal
but,
vapes?
Yeah.
Well, smoking, it does seem to be on the decline, and I guess if you're looking on a 20-year horizon, you think anybody will still be doing it? I don't think Philip Morris thinks anybody will be doing it at that time because they're pivoting.
Cigarette maker Philip Morris to buy UK producer of respiratory treatments.
Now, what do you think is the number one cause of the need for respiratory treatments?
Well, that would be smoking, followed by asthma.
Maybe not this year.
Or pollution.
But it's definitely going to be a built-in demand, right?
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong with a company like Philip Morris making vital life-saving drugs? Certainly there's no conflict of interest there at all.
To solve the problem they created. It's beautiful.
We call our product Lead Away. It gets rid of the lead in gasoline from its acute. It's like, why is this?
Why was that in there in the first place?
Thanks, Chevron.
Brought to you by National Lead. Now we've seen a lot of stories about dog poop being tested for DNA, and I think Tel Aviv, as an entire city, is going to start doing it, as a city service. So that's something that's definitely going to get more and more popular. But here is a much less used form of DNA tracking.
Olympic National Forest lumber thief has been convicted thanks to tree DNA. So these three people cut down some trees, and they sort of also set a fire trying to kill a beehive because there was a beehive in the trees. They killed the bees.
They killed the bees, and they started a 3,000-acre forest fire.
Oh,
yeah.
Bet that killed more bees.
They killed a lot of things, yeah. And they were able to trace the tree that they sold to a lumber mill by the tree's DNA.
It was literally, I think the biologist who testified in the case said it was like a 0.0003% chance that it was a different tree based on the genetic material. There's like, he absolutely stole it from the national forest. And the guy got 10 years in prison for that.
Do we consider that dry snitching on the trees part?
I'm glad that forest burned. Snitches get stitches.
What do we, what's the DNA test cost these days? Are they getting pretty reasonable?
Like $8.
Really?
That makes sense then. I've definitely rescued a lot of cats from this predicament, but that's considerably less risky than this one will be.
Ooh.
Wildlife officials looking for a bear with a bucket on its head. This is, I guess, footage for somebody's Ring doorbell or something.
Oh, look how sad he is.
He's got enough of his snout out the front that he won't die from this, but I'm sure he's embarrassed.
And probably in pain. That doesn't look real comfortable.
Super annoyed. Doesn't look like he's grooming himself all that well.
Look at that cage they put on that bird feeder. They know he's there.
Yeah.
This was for him.
Seems like a bear would wreck the banister and the railing too. You'd have to have some pretty substantial railing to deal with a bear.
Well, he's losing weight.
Something about this image reminds me of when we did the story about the pigeons with the cowboy hats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Although not nearly as fashionable.
No. And as horrible as that was, it was kind of funny that they glued hats on pigeons, but don't do that. It was funny, but only once.
So I've been watching, trying to live a healthier lifestyle, and YouTube is all over me with that. And it's recommending all these different videos. And they're interesting. I'm learning about all the oils and stuff, all the stuff that's killing me, basically. I'm more scared. But one thing I'm on now, pasture-raised eggs, right? So cage-free, buzzword, according to these people. I don't know if it's true or not. Free-range, ethical, none of that means anything. Pasture-raised is what you got to buy. Now, regular eggs, $1 at the dollar store? Pasture-raised eggs, $5.45. But I'm paying it because, damn it, I want those chickens to have a good life.
I do. I also want
What's the
chickens
difference
to be-
between free range and pasture raised?
So free range apparently is like just a marketing word. It doesn't mean
There's no
anything.
legal definition
But
of it.
pasture raised has a legal definition that they have to be like out.
There's a lot of stuff like that for a lot of different brands. And once you start researching that, it's like, oh, so if there's no legal definition, they just make up whatever.
It is sort of surprising when it's like, oh, is there a legal definition for pasteurized? Oh, well, it took us a while to add that, yes.
And I'm probably not getting a lot of benefit from those eggs, and I'm probably really not helping at all. It's really just for my own feeling better.
Are they delicious?
They're eggs.
Yeah.
And but that is exactly the same thing that's going on here. These people can probably afford it more than I can.
Drug dealers marketing ethically sourced cocaine. That's woke coke. Yeah.
But if you're using cocaine, at least in the United States, it had to be trafficked here.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing ethical about what goes on in that world.
Now, when they say ethically sourced, does that like the people are paid a fair wage, or is that like
This is in the UK, so who knows?
Which I'm not sure. Does anywhere in the world actually export cocaine legally?
I don't think so.
It seems impossible.
There's some places that have decriminalized it, but not any that I think you can trade it.
Possession, not manufacture.
Yeah.
Manufacture's not allowed anywhere. So that's a lie that really stupid people are overpaying for their Coke. Is that a good or a bad thing? I'm not sure.
It's artisanal Coke.
Yeah, that's basically what they're selling, right? It comes in like a nicely wrapped baggie, with some ribbon tied around it. Maybe a little flag on it. And our final story has to do with cows. We love stories about cows, but this cow is like none that has ever existed as far as we know.
Thousands flock to see a 23-month-old dwarf cow, Rani, in Bangladesh. Is it Rani?
I think that's how I would pronounce that.
Yeah.
It's tiny. It's
so small.
The owners were making a big deal about the fact that it's smaller than the smallest cow listed in the Guinness Book of World Records.
20 inches, not even 2 feet.
He looks a little hunched, which is sad, but maybe he's okay.
He might have some health issues.
Oh.
He looks hunched in this one too.
Yeah, this may be a genetic defect.
So a lot of people are coming to visit this animal. I don't know exactly why. I guess they just want to see the magic. But a lot of the owners and the people who are, environmentalists are saying, no, this is bad for the little cow.
Yeah, it's we have animals that show up like this from time to time in eastern Kentucky. It's almost certainly because the parents got into the slurry.
What do you think Bangladesh has that would be
the slurry
comparable
equivalent
to the slurry?
Probably cast-offs from dye processes for clothing. There's a lot of clothing manufacturing that happens in Bangladesh.
I didn't make an internet the technology tie-in. I don't know how well those stories are. A lot of people are not reporting it, but South Africa.
Yeah.
They are burning every piece of industrial. Like, how much environmental damage are we doing in South Africa right now?
Yeah. It seems like a lot of countries are kind of teetering a little bit between Cuba and South Africa, and there's a lot of riot footage to watch right now.
It's weird. It's almost like we bottled up all the rage for a year or two and then let that cook until it exploded.
I really hope it doesn't turn into the thing that happened in South America with the whole Dole Fruit Company and, that whole thing. That would be bad.
It's already bad. We've already entered into bad.
On that sour note,
if you need something to do to get your mind off of it, check out that Linode link and get a $100 credit.
and new stuff in the store. Hooray!
Also, all Linodes ethically sourced.
Yeah, don't worry about this stuff. Instead, work on your understanding of WebAssembly because it's definitely the future.
Linode only launches pasture-raised distros.
Thanks, Linode. We'll see you next week.
Bye!